Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for being here today again. Uh, Today is our Art Talk number 46. We're going to be talking about two curated exhibitions that we did online to support our artists. Some of them we have interviewed in the past. Some of them were not able to be here with us. So I can see wonderful people joining to take a look at this conversation about photography and color. I'm gonna wait for some other people to join us. I see Susanna Brown, an amazing curator for the Victoria Albert Museum in London, who we have the pleasure to speak with last week. I can see designer Marco Caridad. Thank you very much again for joining us. We are letting you know too that tomorrow we're gonna have a great interview with David Gill, one of the most prestigious gallerists in the world, based in London. He's gonna give us some time tomorrow from Malta. We're gonna talk about art, design, and a lot of people that he represents, the best ones. So today we're going to start talking about one of two exhibitions that we did online to promote our artists, as I mentioned before. And the first one is an exhibition that we base pretty much on the summer. So I'm gonna place you an online exhibition that we did for our online space. It was a bit recreated for my old gallery in the design district. So you're gonna see this exhibition now. It's called Summer. And I have the works of Alex Hodge, Casey Waterman, vintage work from my collection from Bonnie Jagger, and watercolors from Celso Castro. This exhibition was curated for us to represent what we believe is summer. A little bit of the past and a little bit of the present. I'm going to talk about each of these artists, and I'm going to show you more work for them. So here we are. Thank you everybody for joining us. That's great. So the exhibitions are very short. They're only 1 minute, and we use them as viewing rooms for people to see some of the selected work that we choose for the exhibition. In this particular case, we have the front part of the exhibition, and we choose to display the paper and color work of Casey Waterman. Casey Waterman is a local Miami artist who is impeccable with his production on paper. He loves to control absolutely every aspect of the production. He does it himself. He did these amazing color prints, and they're all based, and this is Casey here, they're all based in cutouts that he does from different multiple papers. And he presents them together, overlay them, then photograph them, then color them, and then apply them on paper. So these limited edition prints that he does, they're absolutely beautiful because they really have the color. Somehow I think their colors a little bit on the vintage side. They're not that vibrant, some of them, and then suddenly he surprises you with these splashes of colors. And this is what we love about his work. You know, we have a recent exhibition at the Soho House here in Miami. Casey also showed lots of his work in murals and public spaces here in Florida. He's a very acclaimed young artist, and we are delighted to represent it for some time. And the prints are available in small, medium, and large. And this particular set that we decide to choose it for the summer exhibition is pretty much his reflection of what living in Miami is all about. You know, living in Miami, the party, the scene, the people, the ocean, and they have a little bit of a sense of humor, I would say. And when you see them in either small or medium or really oversized prints, we just absolutely adore them. You know, to see them framed even by him. You know, he also produced his own frames. So that really makes then, a true, the sensation of an artist, the handmade, his own paper, his own printing, his own framing, very, very desirable. You can see these pieces here. There is no identity in their faces, which we love too, because there are pieces that are eternal in a way. So Casey produced not too much work. He produced maybe 2 collections per year because he truly, spent time to sort of research the techniques. But it's all about that. It's all about how profound an artist goes deep with the work. And what we love is that at the end, it's not necessarily an artwork that it makes you to think too much. It's actually an artwork that help you to live happy, and that's the reason that we are very proud to represent him. We just took out yesterday the artwork collection that we have at the Soho House after a couple of months, and just to see the prints again was just absolutely glorious. So I hope you can visit our website and learn a bit more about the work of Casey Waterman, and to see how beautiful it is and how elemental it is at the same time, and we love that for that. For that reason, we are displaying today his work and his exhibition called Water. The other artist that we're going to talk about is the late Bonnie Yeager. Bonnie Yeager started her career as a model. He was a center cover for Playboy, and then he became a photographer, of models at the same time in the 50s and 60s. He passed away maybe 10 years ago. There are several beautiful books done about the work of Bonnie Yeager, but she is actually more well known by all the pictures that he took of Betty Page. She actually became a very good friend of Betty Page and produced a large amount of work about this amazing peanut model. There are also books about Bonnie Yeager and about Betty Page done by Petra Mason, beautiful books produced by Rizzoli, and that I highly recommend you guys to see it. This particular print, which is actually like hand colored, because at the time color was not on fashion, is just divine. We bought it part of a big collection of prints that I have from my personal collection, and we start to let them go little by little, but we decide to include it in this exhibition because in a way is the history of Miami. Bonnie used to live in Miami, and Betty Page spent many, many years here in Miami. And there are many pictures that are done where you can even see here in the background of this vintage image, Vizcaya. It was the beginning of the building of Vizcaya, and the beginning of the possession of the woman of the bikini. It's worth it to know that Betty Page also designed a very famous bikini, a panther bikini, that is patterned and is being used for many, many movie stars around the world. So this fascination of prints and a leopard print and naked woman's photograph in a very suggested way in the 50s and 60s, it's actually the beginning of the empowerment of women's. And Bonnie really did a lot for that. Betty Page was very audacious and incredibly, a figure, and the whole movement of, there is even a caricature of Betty Page, and people really, really get inspired by all the daring things that she was able to do, at that time. Here you can see another vintage print that we have, and they're just actually extraordinary, to see how well conserved they are, and we just absolutely adore them. This is such another image of another model holding a chandelier. This is one of my favorite ones, this one here. It's just the pose The natural light, the texture, and the vintage print is truly exceptional, you know. And I think now you can get many images of Betty Page online. Not many of them are original vintages, but they are just remarkable work out there still. They can be acquired for very reasonable money. But I would say that it's truly a collectible item, and you can see it all in our pages on First Steps, RC, RSPER, and in our website. You can see a lot of work of Betty Page, photographed by Bonnie Yeager. We don't represent her, but it's part of my personal collection, and we are very, very happy to show it as part of this exhibition. Another artist that we're going to talk about, and this is a long monologue, so I hope I can survive the 45 minutes hour that I'm going to do, because I'm going to do 2 exhibitions. So I appreciate your patience, and thank you very much for taking the time to listening to me. Another artist that we absolutely adore and we represent is Alice Hodge. She's a ceramist, a woman, an activist, an incredible, proud young girl who really worked with her hands and have amassed an incredible amount of work in such a young age. I get to meet her at her exhibition, a graduated exhibition, and when I walk into that space, I pretty much wanted to get it all, because everything is just absolutely divine. I'm gonna take my phone and show you one of the pieces that I have here next to me before I continue to show you the slide presentation. Here it is, hold on. Take a look. How do I do this? I have to do this properly, right? Please forgive me 1 second. So you can see the label of love that she does with these pictures. This is actually one of her sculptures. And if you can take a look, you know, how divine she actually works with this, with all these materials. He writes on it. And you can see how tridimensional they are. So Alice is an artist that we really adore, and we represent. Let me just secure my phone again, please. Okay, here we are. So then, we're gonna show you some of the pieces that we select for this summer exhibition. We did a wall with her plates. She does this amazing sort of place that almost kind of remember you the base of a pie, and she writes on it and sculpts them by hand in a divine way. You know, I think finding artists that work by hand, you know, lately is, and being a ceramist herself, you know, she actually have a remarkable story. We interviewed her maybe a month and a half ago. We already have 45 art talks, and you can see them all in our IGTV. Many of them with our artists, and also with wonderful people that we know around the world that have given us the time to share their experiences. But her interview was quite beautiful, because it was just at the time where the whole movement of Black Lives Matter was pretty much on the pinnacle, and she's very involved. She's a great activist, and we support her very much for that. So here you can see all the plates. It's all about the sort of the neck of the woman and how she believes, you know, that somehow they hold a lot of pressure here, you know. So you have locks and butterflies and ropes. So they're very deep in their message, and we love it. Here is more work for her. This actually was part of her first collection of dishes. Now she's way, you know, have developed herself. We did this exhibition a couple of months ago. So the new work is also divine, and we have it in our website. Here you are. Beautiful plates. I don't know if you can see it by detail, but if you go to our website, you will see closer, the texture and the feeling of each of these images that she transport into these ceramics. It's a very hands-on artist. Here are her sculptures. I'll show you one. How tridimensional they are. There's all about the dancing of either two women, so a man and a woman. There are like urns where you can keep secrets, and we just adore them. So Casey is Alex, is another artist that we're absolutely very happy to represent and to show her work and to see her grow. We represent not only established artists, we represent young artists. And when we met her, that was her graduation show. And I got myself some art from my collection, and then I realized that she was worth it to represent. And since then, what a ride. She's been unbelievable, and she's a fantastically involved in many projects around the city. So for that, we thank her. Then we're going to talk about the work of Celso Castro. He was part also of our exhibition. Celso Castro is an artist that live and work in Colombia. And for this particular exhibition, we choose his watercolor pages and paintings. His base and his philosophy on his work is the male nude. And the watercolor pages of this particular sort of booklet, they're unbelievably, clear, somehow raw, but not disturbing. It is a whole sort of movement around a man taking a shower, and that it was somehow involved in the whole sort of summer water thing that we love, and then that's the reason that we decided to involve in this exhibition, not only to have works on paper, but at the same time works on ceramic, as Alice Hodge. So here you have these diptychs, they're all handmade and paper, and you can see, I guess, the wrinkle around the paper, which is pretty much where you can see the humanity and how amazing of a painter he is. Here's more work. These are particularly striking, the combination of colors. Here you can see them all together in a bench that we usually rest and we use to photograph our images. So we decide to hang them there and just find them unbelievable as a whole collection. He's also in all our pages, and RC First Tips on Artsper. Here you can see more work. This was part of a series of 4. We sold already 2, and it's somehow a little bit of a tennis player kind of thing. He's an extraordinary painter, and pretty much the base of the work of his entire career has been photography and photo collage, very much inspired by David Hockney. But at this particular moment, he's doing a lot of painting and works on paper. So we wanted to share them with you. This is the last one, and I'm gonna be able to show them again for you to see them. Here we go. Again, is his whole sort of idea of an imaginary man taking a shower. Totally naked. Here we are. Okay, so we're gonna pass to our second exhibition, online curate exhibition that we did last year. This exhibition, it was all about architectural, black and white, landscape, interiors. And we have the work of Luca Artioli, which is an Italian artist, Arslan Sudkan, which is another artist from Istanbul that we represent, Kiko Kairuz, a young Colombian photographer that now is based in Mexico, Jill Peters, Miamian artist that live all around the world, and they take beautiful aerial pictures. And we also have Magda von Hanau. Is a Brazilian artist who is a multidisciplinary artist. She works in photography and pottery and drawings. We're going to start to see a little bit of these photographs that she produced a couple of years ago. And it's all about her vision of architectural beauty and how she somehow encountered these great architectural beauties but destroy them with a camera to somehow get the essence of a piece that is in a movement. So these beautiful entrances that she finds, around the world, especially in Austria, where she spent a lot of time. She lived between Austria and Miami. She actually deconstructed. She called them deconstructed beauty, and she put the camera in movement, trying to take many angles of the same image and encapsulate it in only one. And that's the reason that she loved to somehow work in a movement with a movement camera. Not only it's architectural, but it's also sculptural. And her images in large scales are absolutely striking, not only for the color, but at the same time, if you go deep, you can see the clarity of each of the monuments that she actually photographed. And for that, we're very, very proud to represent her. Her work is now being in major collections, and she now developed herself as a ceramist, and she does these amazing drawings. We love to collaborate with her. She does these prints in black and white and color, and they're all full of life. They all have the sort of movement, as I mentioned before, but they don't lose the scale, and they actually have sort of tri-dimensional vision. So I hope you enjoy it, and you can see a bit more of her work in our website, and also at the First Steps, RC, and Artsper, and our Instagram. You can see a lot of her work as well. Then we have another artist that we really love too, and we've been working with her for some time. Her name is Jill Peters. Jill is a very very active artist who work taking pictures from helicopters, from planes. So the entire thing in her mind is to reproduce these connections that are between not only highways but also different structures that you're going to see very soon in the next slides. She really is very much into trying to connect the dots of these elements, and suddenly, you find them almost like paintings, but when you go inside, you realize they're actually photographs, aerial photographs. So she risks her life pretty much to be hanged from a helicopter to capture these particular images. And for that, we really, been very lucky to represent her and show her. And you can see here the scale of her work is huge. This is actually a roller coaster, a wooden roller coaster that I believe is already destroyed in North Miami. She actually took also a wonderful portrait, I would say, the Miami Herald during his destruction. It's one of her iconic pictures, as well as the stadium in Key Biscayne here in Miami. Or suddenly she works around these mines and find a way to position from the air, and trying to focus, that sort of diagram of images that we love to have in our roster of artists, because we really believe she's sort of like an architectural photographer in a way. And that's the reason that we have displayed large scale of her pictures. Her name is Jill Peters, and here you can see, for example, a refinery, and then you go inside and you see the amazing details, that she actually captured through her eye. It's just quite remarkable. I can see here wonderful people like Luca Artioli that we're going to talk about now. He's another artist part of this exhibition. David and Watts, which is one of my favorites Instagram pages. Thank you very much for being here today. Today is a little bit of a monologue. I'm trying to survive, but I'm supporting my artists, and that's what I'm doing it alone today. Tomorrow we're gonna have David Gill from London, one of the most prestigious art galleries. On Friday we're gonna have Catherine Maxwell, which is the co-founder of Fountainhead, which is one of the wonderful organization here in Miami that support artists, and they have residences for artists to come here and work in Florida. And on Friday we're going to have Erkal Aksoy, one of the most important antique art dealers in Turkey. So we're going back to the next artist. His name is Kiko Kairuz. Kiko Kairuz is a photographer of nature and people. We get the chance to meet him in Colombia many years ago, and we have seen how he had developed his career in a wonderful way. He is very much in attention to detail. You can see this amazing sort of picture of this shelf here. And when you go through that, you feel almost like it's a painting, to be able to photograph black and white, which has such a sense of detail and not natural light, is really remarkable lately, because I guess all these cameras are wonderful, but at the same time, they don't really have the sort of effect of old-fashioned black and white images. We love this particular picture too, of this sort of window and this man that is sweating actually overlooking the city. That's also one of his beautiful iconic pictures. We have this sort of, I don't know why people believe that transporting you to Cuba, but it's actually in South America. The hands, the veins, the ring, the piano, the movement, the sound is actually quite remarkable, the work that he does. And at the same time here, all the fishermen trying to pull in the need from the water is actually that. I don't know. For me, when I represent someone, I have to like it. I have to feel totally in touch with them, and we respect the work of this young photographer because we believe that he, in a way, he's trying to show something that is not as current, but is an historical image that he documents, and for that we believe that we have a space in our life and in our gallery. The next artist that we're going to talk is an artist that is based in Istanbul. His name is Arslan Salkan, and he is a pure minimalist or a pure maximalist. These particular editions of architectural images that he found online, and many of them are actually existing. There are remarkable view of a young artist who trying to document the light, the space, and the feeling of each of these moments that he encountered, not only online but also live. Arslan, that is based in Istanbul, goes around not only documenting architectural, but he have documented backstage of fashion shows in a very unusual way. You can see more of his work in our online pages. But at the same time, he also documents paints that are left in pieces of paper in different cities in the world, and hardware stores or in walls or in graffitis. But in this particular case, in this exhibition, he really encountered a sort of architectural point of showing us, a sense of a release and a sense of a enclosement of the space, and we just love it. I think it's incredibly beautiful when you blow them up in huge prints. When you see them, they're just the purity of the light and the movement and the capture of that instant that he provoked with his camera is something that really have all my respect. He is young, so he still have a long way to go, and he's every day producing more beautiful images. Here there are other ones, very simple, they're very clean, and we adored to see that sort of white on white on white, and then suddenly the lines are actually part of the lighting, and that is something that we want to share with you in this exhibition, that we're going to actually show you the video at the end when we discuss all the artists that were part of this exhibition. The next artist is Luca Artioli. He's an Italian artist that lives between Miami and Italy. And he documents the skin and the architectural skin of the city of Miami, and also the architectural skins of beautiful sculptures and antiques in Europe. But in this particular case, we choose a couple of images in Miami that are iconic and that represent a bit of the spirit of Miami. Generally, people photograph Miami and document the deco part, in a way. Luca not only actually captured the only skin of the deco architectural, but he also went into the contemporary in the 70s and photographed them in this pure black and white that is just absolutely striking, to see the perfection of the images and how the light is connected with the black and white sense that he wanted to provoke during these images. This is one of my favorites, and I think it's a sort of wave of movement that make them absolutely special. Here is another one, sort of totem in the middle of the city, a sort of black, absolute background. It makes them very, very special. It's something about rounding the corners of the work and just look up then in a very iconic way, and that, it really made them strong and at the same time very sensual, and people sometimes ask me, but where do you see the sensuality? But I just always try to say that the sensuality is not only in the hard lines, but here you are, this is sort of kind of B image of our absolutely beautiful, buildings that we pass by every day, and we just don't even notice that particular angle. So for that, we're very happy. There is beautiful work of Luca Artioli in our websites, and we're very pleased to have him. We have a beautiful conversation with him also record in our Art Talk series. We are already in number 45, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Here I'm going to pass the video of the online room of the exhibition for you guys to enjoy it. The symmetry is awesome. Thank you very much for that comment. Here it is, Between the Lines, the exhibition that I just talked about it for you to enjoy. You can see Arslan Sultan work here. Magda von Hanau. Just to see that you have a Turkish photographer, a Brazilian photographer, a Miamian photographer, an Italian photographer, an artist, all this, a Colombian one. It's amazing to see that sort of multicultural aspect to put of an exhibition. Some people play with other things. I play, when I do this, is for me, it's just such a wonderful experience to be able to select these pieces and put them together in these online galleries that I've been doing for some time. So I want you guys to enjoy it. Go to our website and you will see that we have many more. We have done a couple of dozens through the years, and I hope you really enjoy them, because we enjoy the process, which is something that I guess is the climax of this beautiful work that we get to do through the eyes of somebody else, which are these artists that we represent. After this, I'm going to pass the first exhibition that I spoke about it for the people that joined the chat a little late. It's every day at noon. So here is the end of Between the Lines, the exhibition that have Arslan Sutkan, Luca Artioli, Kiko Kairuz, Jill Peters, and Magda von Hanau. Here's the work of that. And now I'm going to show you the first exhibition that we spoke about it today and at the beginning of this shot. It's called Summer, and it have the work of Celso Castro, watercolors on paper, vintage work from my collection of Bonnie Jagger, pictures of Betty Page, the work of Casey Waterman, watercolors on prints, prints on color, limited edition prints on colors, and a beautiful cotton paper. And then we have the ceramics and the sculpture ceramics of Alice Hodge. Here it is, here they are. So tomorrow, as I mentioned before, we're gonna have this great interview with David Gill he's gonna be talking to us from Malta, but he has several galleries in London, and he's one of the pioneers of design and art. We're gonna have Catherine from Fountainhead Residences here in Miami, and Erkal Aksoy, one of the most important art dealers in Istanbul, who live in a house that is just absolutely divine, and we're gonna get a tour. Here I leave you guys with some of the images that we're going to be talking to David tomorrow, Mattia Bonetti, my dear friend Zaha Hadid, and many other artists, Michelle O'Connor, a Miamian artist. So many wonderful images. We're going to talk about art, functional art. David Gill has been one of the most important, I would say, galleries in the world, and his work is unbelievable. What he has done for design and art is just remarkable. Thanks to Ana Dominguez, wonderful writer and creator from Spain, we got to get this interview with David that I met. Actually, I met him maybe 15 years ago, and it's just, I'm very big fan of his work. So I hope you guys join us tomorrow. Make sure please to go to our Instagram, take a look of our IGTV, and you will see 40-something interviews that we have done. We're gonna do only 50 something, and then we're gonna take a break, and we will come back somewhere around November to regroup and to do more. But today is the 45th, so we have 5 or 6 more to go. I hope to see you tomorrow. Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it, and please be safe and wear that mask. Bye-bye.